everyone, and welcome to another Superhero Rewind commentary on the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my sidekick and co-host, Austin. And this evening, Austin, hold on, this is going to drive me insane. I've got a TV, like, just slightly in the way of my camera. You can see, like, just this, like, this much of it. And that had never been an issue before, but there it was. Anyway, so we are on our 49th show. Next week we're going to do the big 50th, and we will announce what that movie is going to be at the end of the show. Some folks have already called it, but we're still going to pretend like it's suspenseful and exciting, and we're going to reveal that at the end of the program. How you doing, Austin?
I'm pretty good. Less good having to talk about this movie, but
look, we're doing everything. Okay, so we got to get it out of the way at some point.
Yeah, exactly. No, I watched this today at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock maybe, and man, this movie.
Did you fall asleep?
It's not even. No, though I did contemplate stopping it halfway through and watching more of it later, and then I went, but am I going to have enough time to do that? I don't know.
I will admit to nodding off in the third act, and I did, of course I've seen this movie several times before, and I did watch the director commentary again, and so I relived all the material that I napped just a little bit through, Austin. But I will admit,
well,
I
gotta know, is that a commentary where they know that the movie's boring, or is that a commentary where they're completely clueless?
No, it's actually a lot more fun to watch with the commentary, because Jenna Swark, the director, sounds very proud of it, and he does not know that it's boring. He also talks mostly about very superficial and just filmmaking stuff. So a lot of it is, that was practical, that was optical, like that's the majority of what he's saying through the thing. And I've never heard anyone say the word aerial ballet as many times in one sitting as he did.
I mean, like,
we get it. She's a girl, so it should be more graceful. Is that all you've got, though? It's like, well, we wanted this time for it to be about grace instead of strength. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, I can get that just based on basic, like gender standards. But what's different about the Oh, nothing else. That's it. All right.
Are you not entertained?
She's a teenager this time, you guys. He does make a big deal out of that. But what makes it very entertaining, Austin, is that he doesn't just do it by himself. He's being interviewed by another guy who's younger and didn't have anything to do with making the movie. And I don't know who that guy is. They called him like something consultant. So I don't know what that's about. And he certainly seems to enjoy the movie more than you and I seem to, and I had like some nice things to say about it, but there were several points where he asked just logical questions of things that don't make any sense to the movie, and Swark either just doesn't understand what the man is asking, like, why is that a problem, or would completely sideswipe it. Like, there's a place where he asks Swark about the fact that there's no explanation for the costume, where she just comes out of the ship wearing it, and he goes, so Swark, was there ever any discussion about like an explanation about that might have been put in the movie, or did you cut something out or something? And he just goes, no, and they just move on. And he does that.
No,
he does that several times. It's pretty
beautiful, great. Beautiful.
Yeah, you should watch that. It's fantastic. And I've talked about this before because I have seen that commentary in the past, and I talked about it when Oliver Harp and I did a commentary years ago. But he is also very proud of himself for coming up with the wood photo cutout that comes out of the water, because they could not figure out how to make that shot work, and ultimately they just put a photo of her on a piece of wood and pulled that out of the water. He's very proud of that effect.
I mean, good for him, I guess.
Like,
I mean, there is some cool
I guess it
production in this movie, but it's also just one of the most boring movies ever made.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into it. Yes, we are watching the 2 hour and 4 minute international version. Shockingly, this movie I came to find out this week, and too late to watch even the other version. There are at least 3 different cuts of this movie, and I say at least 3. In some of the reading I did, it seems like there might even be a 4th one that like splits the middle between the international cut and the director's cut. I'm not sure, but apparently there's the theatrical cut that was massively gutted down, that we got. And then at the same time, for whatever reason, they put out an international cut that was longer and is, in my mind, like I guess the proper way to watch the movie. Although it's too long, but it's also not cutting some. I hate to say like character stuff you need, because like I don't really understand anybody in this movie. People don't really act like real people, but there's still some just really basic information that are cut out, particularly about the villain. And then there's this longer director's cut that it sounds like it was like the last cut just before they went to the theatrical cut and put it in the theater, Austin. And it sounds like that might have been made initially to be a TV broadcast like you had with Superman the movie, because the original Superman movie had as we all know now, a much longer cut that was only TV broadcast. And it sounds like this was maybe supposed to have that, but then it never actually aired, and we didn't get it until on disc.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know about that for the longest time. In fact, I thought it was only released on the Blu-ray. Apparently, that goes all the way back to the early 2000s. You could get it even that far back, apparently. And there have been several different releases of this on DVD that I didn't realize. And then we finally got a Blu-ray release in, I think, maybe 21 that includes the director's cut. Oddly, on a DVD. So it's a Blu-ray set that is a Blu-ray, and then the director's cut is on the DVD. And I just ordered that, but too late to watch it for this. So I will at some point. So 2.5 hours. I can't imagine sitting through this for 2.5 hours. I read about some of the extra stuff that's in that cut. None of it seems. It all sounds very extraneous. But I'll look at it at some point, and if there is a 10 to 15 minute video to be made about that, I might do something on it. But I doubt if we'll ever do a whole commentary on that.
Yeah, rough. Stone Gasman also just said that Swark, the director, passed away in January.
Yes, he sure did. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And honestly, I think he is a pretty good TV director. He did a lot of work after this for television, and he directed some of the better episodes of Smallville. Oddly, he was one of their big recurring directors. He did several episodes for that show.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of neat since he did this.
But did he work on the Supergirl show at all? Because I know they brought, the CW shows love bringing in people.
Yeah, you'd have thought so. Not to my knowledge. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. I also don't know if he was still working by then. Like
that is very true. I was thinking that too.
Game at that point, because he was still working pretty heavily in the early 2000s. But he would have been getting up pretty well in years, even by Supergirl. So he might have just been full on retired by that point. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, probably. It's just the second you said Smallville, I was like, that's not like that far away.
Discussing topics says the director's cut is mainly little character stuff, nothing on Donner cut or Rogue cut level. Well, and what's interesting about that, I think some of the stuff that's added with Rogue cut is extraneous and also just makes it a different movie. So that's almost in a different plane for me, but it doesn't sound like it's at all like Daredevil director's cut territory or anything like that. But it's interesting that that came out in I think 2006. They finally released that. I said early 2000s. I think that cut came out in 2006, and I think the international cut finally came to DVD anyway in like 2000 or 2001. So like pretty early. But I think that's the same. So that's the year Superman Returns comes out, and I think that might even be the same year they released the Donner cut. So I think we might have gotten the director's cuts for both of those the same year. I don't know if I'm right about that.
Possibly. I mean, that could be part of why they do it.
Isn't that crazy?
Superman just got it, so.
Well, let's go ahead
Back
and
to Supergirl.
let's go ahead and get into it. We got 2 hours that might feel a little longer than that, but we'll do our best to make this as fun and interesting as we possibly can. Whenever we go into a movie where Austin says it's boring, I get a little worried that I'm gonna have to do all the talking. Austin's like, I don't know. I watched it. That's all I can say.
I got nothing.
No, we'll have a good time with you. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate you. And a quick plug for Patreon, as always. If you want to become a Patreon producer for the show, patreon.com/geekvolution. The $10 tier makes that possible. And at just the $5 tier, you can even put in a tweet-length review that we'll read at the end of the show. And feel free to get those in as we go. I forgot to put out the prompt for that today until... not like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, so there's still, a little time to get them in if you would like to get your opinion read on air about this movie. And $10 tier Patreon producer lets you hang out with us on Discord and help us pick movies for the show and other perks like that. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get into it. And as always, if you want to leave a super chat during the show, we really appreciate those, and you can help direct our conversation, but we'll read some regular comments as well. Okay, I'm done spieling. Now, Supergirl. Without further ado, the year I was born. This movie is as old as me. Here we go. Everybody please press play right now. So, Austin, this was your first experience with this.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Don't you feel remiss in having not grown up with this?
I feel just as remiss as not having grown up with the Reeves Superman movies, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Now, that is certainly a crime. This, not so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it just my imagination, or is there kind of weird hard cuts between all the credits?
I think there is. These credits also reminded me of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like a cross between the Donner Superman credits and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I guess we're not getting the hard cuts now. It's like they did the hard cuts between... No, they still have them. They still sort of have them. A couple of them were soft enough I couldn't totally tell. But anyway, I don't know, it's sort of weird. It's like, how difficult is it to just keep your background going while your words come across?
Very hard.
Why do you have to cut between that? I mean, to be fair, like these kind of sequences were much more difficult to do, at the time, because you can't do them digitally. Like this is analog, it's optical. Like I get that, but
yeah.
But obviously, the Superman credits looked a lot better. I mean, the elephant in the room here is this movie, for me, watches like a knockoff before it watches like a spin-off. It's like...
100%.
If this wasn't in the same universe and it was somebody making, like, legally distinct Superman, it would probably have a lot of the same qualities, right? Like, it would probably have... the same sort of feel, and this has kind of a B-movie quality to it, which wouldn't be terrible if it was just more entertaining,
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing that ultimately tanks this is just that they weren't able to get Christopher Reeve to come in to like more justify it as a spin-off.
Yeah, that's true. Now, let me say, because I know a little bit about what they were going to do with that, and it wouldn't have been still a very good movie. Because...
Oh, no, I'm sure it wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like that would have bumped up a little bit.
Certainly. Yeah, a bit.
I also don't know what they plan to use him for.
I do wonder what they would have given him to say, but... So he was supposed to be in basically 2 sequences. And the second one is absolutely baffling. I guess I can just go ahead and get this out of the way right now. But initially, so you know how when she comes to Earth through the water because they're from inner space. So I guess something you go through a vortex and then you come out from inside the Earth. Which when I was a kid made me think it was like microscopic, but it's not supposed to be that because Zaltar or whatever his name is says something about going to Venus. So I guess they're able to just like go through a vortex and then come out anywhere they want to, not from outer space, but on a planet. I don't know how the science works. They don't know how the science works. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you know how when she comes out of the water with her wood cutout, she then just starts like dancing around in the air, learning how to fly, or realizing she can fly. That was supposed to be the first Superman, or the first Superman sequence, Reeve sequence, where like they were supposed to fly together. And so like they would meet and they would just immediately hit it off and be friendly, and then they would just fly around for a while. So it would be like a platonic cousin.
Can you read my mind?
Can you read my mind scene, I guess, is all that was supposed to be. And then the other thing where he would actually be more relevant to the story, I guess, and I don't understand any of this, is he's supposed to somehow lose his powers and rapidly age because he's no longer immortal, but like he lost his powers in 2 and he didn't rapidly age, and I don't know why not being immortal anymore would make, he's not that old. But okay, and then
maybe it wouldn't have bumped it up a little bit.
That's why I wanted to tell you about this. And then she was supposed to, and this is straight from Swark in his commentary, and then she was supposed to somehow save him and solve that problem for him, and then in saving him, that would give her the secret to stopping the bad guy. He explains this twice in the commentary. It doesn't make any more sense the second time he explains it. Like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the very least, you could have maybe had a Superman 3 situation where, like, every time he's on screen, he's at least, Superman.
Yeah.
And, like, he and Helen Slater could have had good chemistry. I don't know. Like, it is still possible that it would have bumped it up a little bit. And, like, at the end of the day, it would make it feel less like a knockoff. Just the fact that he's actually there.
No, absolutely. Instead, they hope that Jimmy Olsen's presence and the fact that he's dating Lucy Lane will be enough to connect it to the other franchise and make it.
It's whoever was lame enough to come back.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like 100%. And he just walks around with his camera, so it's Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, he's not even doing anything with it. Look, something might happen. I don't even think he takes a picture of the bulldozer, does he? I think there's this rampaging bulldozer. You'd have that obligatory moment where he goes, "This will be great for the paper." I don't think he does that. Maybe he does. We'll watch for it.
So somehow, when I was watching this earlier today, I caught that Peter O'Toole was in this, but for whatever reason, I must have gotten distracted by something and missed that it was Peter O'Toole as Zaltar. I just saw Peter O'Toole as, and then kind of missed the rest of the credit. So when he pops up here, I was like, oh, that's cool. We're following in the line of Brando. Where her dad is a big major actor who clearly doesn't want to be here. And I'm like, that's neat. And then he's also not her dad. He's just some professor guy, I guess. He's
apparently the guy that built their society and is kind of bored with it and wants to leave now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odd because in that way he sort of feels like the Wizard of Oz to me. But then I think there's this intentional Wizard of Oz quality to the movie where she'll then go to Earth, which should be Oz, but we're starting with the Wizard of Oz leaving where she's from, so it doesn't really make sense. My brain just exploded. I've never had that thought before. We just we will watch the Wizard of Oz leave Earth so she can go to Oz where he isn't there. Is essentially what happens.
Especially because she lands and she's like, "Oh no, I think we're in Kansas now."
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, she probably isn't in Kansas.
Yeah, that doesn't work at all. No, it's supposed to be Illinois, I think.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Which makes it even more ultra convenient that she winds up rooming with Lucy Lane. This is another one of those movies that is just built on a series of really easy, bizarre coincidences.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
And we'll get into those as we go. Stone Gassman just left a comment that really illuminated this whole thing for me. He says, to be fair, David Odell, who wrote The Dark Crystal and later Masters of the Universe, did dozens of rewrites, creating nothing but confusion. I was going to say, even before we started, that one of the things this really reminded me of on this viewing, and even when I was a kid, was Masters of the Universe.
I was going to mention that, too, at the beginning.
In its cheapness, in what it looks like, in some of just the lame story ideas, where it's like, You've got 2 hours of real estate, and you've got a super heroic character, and you're going to waste all this time in a small town. At least that movie had in Skeletor a cool villain. This has a villain that's lameness is only rivaled by Superman 3.
I'm just saying, Skeletor would be better if we stopped for like 20 minutes and had him try to seduce some random dude for a while. And it had nothing to do with anything.
I thought you were going to say Skeletor would be better if we stopped everything and had a hippie house party.
I mean, that too.
That's what I thought
That'll be in the new one. That'll be with Leto, Skeletor.
Okay, so I've got like a million things to say about this opening scene, and we're almost already done with it. But one of them is, yeah, Zeltar should be Zor-El, and it's really odd that he's not. And Zor-El is mentioned, as is her mother. I guess.
Well, these two, aren't they? This is her parents.
Is that actually
I know
supposed
her
to be
mom
her parents?
is...
I guess it is.
I think so. Because I know Mia Farrow's supposed to be her mom.
Okay.
And she, like Stone Gasman said, she's also pretty rough here.
Somehow I missed that. I guess they just get such little screen time. I totally forgot that's even who we were supposed to be looking at. But you don't get to do any cool comparison, contrast with her parents and Clark's parents. We're not doing any of that stuff.
Exactly. And you could have, with like the fact that they're like a separated spot, like maybe he was able to find a way to, get them off of Krypton, but now they're stuck in basically the bottled city of Kandor, just like being off like to the side here.
Yeah, well, and you've got in Jor-El, the man that tried to save the civilization and failed, and then if this guy was Zor-El, it could be the man that almost destroys the civilization again for some reason. This whole setup is extremely lame and contrived and just bizarre, where Zeltar has the Omegahedron, which I always like to call the dodecahedron, but he's got the Omegahedron, and he's just messing around with it, and we don't really know why he's taken it. He tells her, she's like, "Oh, you stole it." And he's like, I don't know if he's just, like, lying to a kid so she won't know that he's doing something devious, or if he's actually doing something devious. But then if he is, I don't know why he's got it out in plain sight like that, and why he'd show it to a kid. Like, none of that makes any sense to me. Like, does he need it to fly his ship? But he doesn't, because she flies it to go get the Omegahedron. So, like, why did he take that thing? Like, what am I missing?
So that a movie can begin, Cap. The Wizard of Oz dropped his wizard ball, and now Supergirl has to go get it.
So I have the comic novelization of this, the the one shot, and I skimmed it right before the show. And there's a couple of curious things that it attempts to clear up, usually in thought balloons. So it's like characters will give us exposition for things in their thoughts that they can't tell us on screen, or that they just don't bother to tell us on screen. So I don't know if that's this comic trying to sort it out for us, or if any of it is what's intended. But one of those things is Zaltar says in his mind that he has stolen the Omegahedron and he doesn't want anybody to know about it. So he kicks it to her, hoping that she'll hide it for him. And then he goes, oh, if anybody finds out, I will be exiled to the Phantom Zone. In the movie version, he exiles himself. They don't seem to have any rules at all, and if he just didn't say anything, they would just let him keep moving along. According to Swark in the commentary, the whole idea, because somebody earlier mentioned that we've gotten completely away from the fashions and the architecture and everything from Krypton and in the original movie, and Swark claims to have done that on purpose in setting Argo City apart as this like total utopia that's supposed to be like an absolute perfect society. And my assumption would be he exiles himself to the Phantom Zone because they don't actually have any rules about it, because nobody breaks any laws and there are no problems. And so he's taking so that was the wooden cutout coming out of the water. He's very proud of that. They wouldn't have any rules about it because nobody's ever done anything wrong. And so he's got to take. So he decides to take personal responsibility, I guess, to his credit. Except, it seems like a bad idea when you're one of the great minds of your society, Austin, to when you've lost one of the things that powers your world or whatever it is, your colony. It's not a colony, but like, you know, it's a. I guess it's just like a big floating building, but like the society you're in, it doesn't seem like a great idea to exile yourself where you can't help with that. Like, I feel like the way you do your penance with that is you also find a way to go help her find it. No.
No, he's gonna go find the red tornado instead. So it's like another DC thing. It's a crossover.
Oh, okay.
The look of Argo City in this also reminded me of what is it called? It's like the Orgo something. The place they go to in Guardians 3, where it's like everything's like a living material. When you go on the inside of that, and it's all white, and just the way things kind of like spiral around reminded me a lot of that.
With the architecture.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminded me a bit of Logan's Run, too.
Oh, okay, I've never seen that. Look at this majestic ballet.
Yeah, she's crouching tigering it. I'm like, I get it. She's graceful. And I like the awe and the wonder with the character. Like, it's fine to stop and smell the flowers with this, like this, if only there was a story that was being told after it. Like, I don't even have a problem with this stuff. And by the way, this was all cut out of the theatrical version.
I'll give it this. I think the first half hour is watchable, and it's like after that, that's when it becomes the most boring movie ever made.
It's watchable enough, but it's already like head scratch inducing, right? Like,
oh yeah, it's not amazing or anything.
The setup for this on Argo City is bizarre. What is that man doing with the Omegahedron? Like it's bizarre.
But like, if the rest of this movie kept the quality of the first half hour, it would probably be a better movie than Superman 3.
Yeah,
and by the end, it's not.
Nope, I'm with you there.
And
there are things about this that I guess I like better than Superman 3. That's how much I don't like Superman 3. Like, there's not much...
Yeah, well, Superman 3 is the bad one.
There's not much to recommend this, but like I said, the villain is as bad but not worse, and he at least has powers. Like, there's at least something kind of comic book about that, and I sort of like the idea of bringing in a sorcerer or a sorceress as the villain for a Superman thing because of the whole Superman hates magic thing. I don't know how appropriate it is for this material. And again, we're not really telling much of a story, but the setup with this is the best I can do with it, Austin. I have to really grasp for straws in doing any sort of story analysis with this. But if the idea is supposed to be she, like Zaltar, is kind of bored in this perfect utopia, the fact that nobody says utopia is a mistake. Because, like, I never got that, like, exactly that sense. Sure, like, everybody's getting along and they're happy and it's kind of kumbaya, but, like, I didn't really get, she is bored, maybe she wants some challenge in her life. You know, like she wants to go off and explore new things, but maybe also, like experience difficulty. Like
she needs her "I Want More" song. Like that, she needs her Disney princess moment.
Yeah,
you maybe.
And so, let me finish this point real quick, because what I'm suggesting is, if that's the idea, she should come to Earth and experience our planet more or less the way it is. You can do some kind of cool heightened comic book stuff with it, but I don't know if that's where you do magic.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
see what I'm saying? Because the idea would be, I live in this perfect utopia. I'm gonna go experience, like, imperfection and maybe something closer to what Krypton was before it exploded, and that doesn't sound like a magic movie to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be something different. And like you said, there's like an Oz element, so it's like we got our Wicked Witch here.
Yeah.
I think you should add like 15 minutes to that Argo City section at least, to like,
and then cut about 45 minutes
buff
for
some
the
of
rest
that stuff out. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, and that scene is apparently cut way down in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
And I think it may be a little longer than director's cut. I'm not sure.
You know, with Superman the movie, we spend a decent amount of time on Krypton, and you obviously don't have your main character yet. This, we do have the main character. Like, we should be getting more into her head there.
Yeah, and get more of a status quo of what her life is like.
Yeah, exactly. Why she would be okay with the fact that she just left everything she knows.
Yeah, like, I like the idea that she's totally naive and would maybe come here looking for some kind of challenge, but gets more than she's bargaining for. And you'd have to totally rewrite the movie for this to work. And in their defense, they didn't know they weren't going to have Christopher Reeve until the 11th hour. He left very.
Sorry, you're starting to cut out a little bit more. It's been like a little bit, but it's like starting to take out whole sentences.
Hold on,
sorry.
Hang up and call you back.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, Christopher Reeve left at the 11th hour. Like, real late in the game, and they didn't know that was going to happen, so they had to rewrite the stuff he was supposed to be in pretty quickly. But if they had envisioned this in the first place without him, or where he wasn't very relevant to the story, they could have made his not being on Earth much more of a plot point. Because I don't know if you caught it, but there's a throwaway thing on a radio that tells you that he's out in space right now, and that's why he's not here.
Yes, because they said that, and I was like, oh my god, it's Superman Returns, this is canon.
It is, yeah. Well, I was going to say that. I would love to do a cut of this movie where the only thing I change is there's a voice in the radio that says, Superman just went to space because he's looking for his planet that we all know exploded, but he's going to look for it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Hilariously, Matt Frewer is in this scene, and he's one of my favorite actors of all time. That is Max Headroom. and he's in my favorite episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's wearing the A&W shirt, which, by the way, gets a weird amount of product placement in this movie. Look for it. It's not just the shirt. There's a couple of A&W things besides that. But yeah, I did not remember that apparently the first thing I ever saw Matt Frewer in was Matt Frewer trying to physically take advantage of Supergirl. I did not realize that. It's very strange.
His best role, really.
A lot of good actors seem to get their start trying to mug chicks in alleyways.
It's true, whether it's on screen or off screen.
Oh, Austin. But this does happen a lot. So this is one of the most baffling scenes in the movie, and that's saying something, because there's a lot of really baffling scenes. But I get that these guys are idiots. First of all, I think it's very strange to be just... These aren't like muggers in an alley. They're just driving their big wig down the street. And they stop and they're like, look, a hot chick. Let's do something to her. Like, oh, okay.
And these guys are like the Night at the Roxbury's guys. Just like, look, there's a hot chick.
It's such a strange choice.
They move in.
It's another just real contrived kind of thing. But more than that, how did they keep on after her after she demonstrates power after power?
And is dressed like Superman?
Yeah. But, like, it's not very long before they realize, well, and they comment on that. We're like, you must be Superman's best friend. And then she's like, I'm his cousin.
They think she's a fangirl.
And then very quickly, she proves that she has the powers of Superman.
Yeah. Well, they're just that horny. They don't care.
One of them keeps pursuing her even after she's used her heat vision on his gun.
On his knife, yeah.
So yeah, we shouldn't be surprised that this is the same guy that wrote Masters of the Universe.
No.
I could have almost guessed at that. Like, I was thinking about that movie the whole way through.
I was too. Even, like, obviously we know, Supergirl is supposed to come to Earth, but, like, it even just kind of has that, like, lame quality to it.
Austin, according to this, apparently the thing on the radio telling us that Superman has left for space happens because the Omega Hedron turns it on randomly. I didn't get that from the movie.
Oh. Yeah.
That's a real minor detail.
Is the back of your issue just a random photo of her, like, with high wind? What is that?
Yes, the back of it looks like a Playboy cover. It absolutely looks like a Playboy cover.
Yikes.
But anyway, sorry, the point I started to make earlier about Superman going to space is if they had known they weren't going to have Christopher Reeve and they could have conceptualized it that way from the beginning, that would have given you great conflict for her to bite off more than she can chew, right? We're like, again, and I know I'm not getting this from a lot with the movie, but it just seems like a natural place to go where it's like, I'm bored in a utopia, I'm looking for, something to challenge me. Goes to Earth, Superman's not there, now she's got to take up the slack for him, and, like, some, much more, terrible and menacing and interesting threat happens that usually Superman would solve. Because even with him gone, that's not really what's happening here. Like, everything this witch does is because Supergirl is there, and then in trying to take Supergirl out. It would be cool if it wasn't related at all to the Omega Hedron. I don't think you even need the MacGuffin. And of course, the MacGuffin is such a standard, even at this point, kind of obvious thing to do anyway. Like, what if, at the beginning, she was just, what if she just stole the ship to go to Earth? And, like, that's all it was. Like, I think that's all the setup you need.
Yeah, like, she wants more.
And then that would give
but I mean,
her...
like, actually, like, you know, she's like, I don't like this utopia place. Like, I want to go somewhere better.
Yeah, and it's like, nobody needs me. You're not doing anything with the ship anyway. Like, you can't even decide if you're gonna leave. Or maybe maybe to make her a little bit less immature with my idea, and like maybe they could ultimately conspire to do that together, where like he gives her that ship, and then you'd have like a slight parallel with the original Krypton story, especially if he was her father, where like he sends her off, but on a journey of self-exploration. So,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
in its way to save her from her planet, but not a planet that's going to explode, but a planet that is not going to allow her to live to her fullest potential. Like, I don't know. That's a notion.
Yeah, something. It's better than what we have.
But I just think there's a lot of ways from the real broad starting place that you could actually craft a compelling story here.
Well, because then, like, with all this stuff, with like her going to school, like, there's more of a reason for that. Where, like,
Stone
right
Gasman
now
just
she's
said
just
that.
looking for a MacGuffin.
There's no reason for her to go there. Well, and one
Yeah.
question I had, well, and then we're getting into the Richard Lester place where she has the power to, like, visualize clothes she wants to wear and then have them.
Yeah, it also reminded me of that weird thing in the original Donner movie
Right.
where Clark Kent's falling and then he just turns into Superman.
Suddenly he's turned into Superman. Yeah. And, like, that doesn't make sense, but you could, like, almost see it as he moves so fast in changing clothes that you didn't... I don't know where you put the clothes. This, she, like, slowly... fades into the clothes she's going to wear, and like in increments. Like you can't.
She's like the bad guy from Men in Black 2. Like she just like shape morphs into this.
Yeah, you can't even hand wave it.
Yeah. No, her hair changes color.
In the comic,
why is she doing any of
she
this?
actually physically changes.
Of course.
Now, I don't know where she got the clothes, even in the comic version, but, like, you actually see her in increments. Like, she takes a shirt off and puts another shirt on, like, in rapid panel succession.
She's watching a baseball team, and they're in their, baseball outfits, and she's looking at somebody looking at their backpack. I was like, oh, okay, so she's gonna pull their uniform,
that's
from one of their bags. And then we're gonna have that moment where, a baseball player's like, my school uniform is gone, and we don't even get that.
So the guy that runs the school's name is Danvers, which is, I guess, their reference to Supergirl's name in the comics. This is, of course, just before we get the post-crisis version. Or I guess just before Crisis. You actually don't get Linda Danvers without the Lee until way later, until Peter David. So Linda Lee Danvers is the pre-Crisis Supergirl, which is where they get Lee here. But for whatever reason, I guess just for the alliteration or to not confuse people, I don't know. They decided to take the Danvers off of it, and then they give it to him just to reference it, I suppose. I also think it's funny that she names herself after a Confederate general. You never do that now.
Yeah, I was just surprised that we unironically did the look around the room and name yourself off of things in the room.
Yeah, well, I was hoping it would be like Mrs. Doubtfire, where she pulls it from a couple of different places.
Well, it would make more sense, yeah. There's probably a version of this movie where it is more comedic than it actually is. This A&W again. And it probably would have been better to have that, if you're gonna do stuff like that, and like going to the whatever the school is. Because this is more like a college, I would say, than a high
No,
school.
it is a high school.
It's-
It's supposed to be
it
like
is
a
a high
private
school?
prep school. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but they just like live. See, okay, I didn't know that they did like high schools like that where you live on them, but I guess it's like a fancy like preppy.
Like I said, that's
high
what a prep school
so,
is.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Or sort of like a military academy, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be 17.
Okay.
That's the other big thing I wanted to mention from the comic, real quick, Austin. And this is the big like actual change that's in the comic version. She's a little girl in Argo City, and then when she gets in the spaceship and goes through inner space, she ages to 17.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Which I like better because she does seem a little old for some of what she's doing at the start. It almost feels like I wonder if that was a change made just before they filmed and they decided not to cast a younger actress and they just had her play it and hoped that we would buy a 17-year-old acting like a 11 or 12-year-old, because she does seem, and you could argue that it's because of the utopia, and so like she's just got this kind of like wide-eye wonder about anything she's never seen before, and she's like super naive, but she does seem to kind of act a little bit older when she gets here. So I really wonder if that was originally scripted.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. No, I feel like they should have just went the route of like kind of teen comedy type thing with the stuff. Like we're in the heart of like the John Hughes teen movie era. Like maybe just go into that lane. You know what I mean? Like
that would give it its own identity.
Yeah, exactly. And it separates
from...
it completely from Superman into being its own thing, and then you focus more on her finding herself. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she could actually have some sort of character arc.
Yeah, and she's got to decide, like, oh, I can do these super things. She learns that her cousin is here and like is inspired by him to do things when whatever your villain plot is, because definitely don't do this villain plot, pick something else.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because all we really get is just these superficial kind of moments where she discovers she likes boys. Okay, like we don't do anything with that, and she discovers that high school girls are mean to each other. What does she take from that? Like, it's just a superficial journey to go find a MacGuffin, and then you go back home. And what, like what does she get from all of that? Like the basics, the bare bones basics of storytelling are there. Like, you have the break-in status quo, and you have the thing your protagonist wants, and she goes and tries to get it. But what you don't have is any kind of opportunity for change. Like, what does she take away from this experience, or what do we learn about her in the process? I got nothing.
Well, her change is that she was looking for this MacGuffin and then immediately stopped the second she got here.
Well, she's waiting for her hot-cold device to go off. That thing is busted. Like, she keeps getting close to it, and it doesn't go off, and then it goes off when she's not any closer to it than she was when it should have gone off. Like, when she first lands, she's not that far away from Faye Dunaway's boyfriend that she's going to dump immediately just because she finds a device that can augment her magic powers, and that makes her no longer interested in her boyfriend for some reason. I don't know. And then as soon as Supergirl starts flying around, she flies over that guy, which means she wasn't that far away. So why didn't it go off then? Why wasn't it going off when she was flying over the guy?
I have no idea.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Or even she should just be, flying around looking for it. waiting for her thing to go off.
So Selina is Catwoman. No, so Selina is enamored with the groundskeeper because he's attractive, and she will later use a love potion to try to make him fall in love with her. And when he escapes before he can look at her and be enamored with her, Selina almost tears apart a whole small town just to get to that guy when she could just go find some other hot guy. Or wait a day. Because the whole thing
but
is...
she wants this hot guy more, sir.
Is that
she
what it is?
She doesn't want any other hot...
Is that all it is?
Any other hot guy.
The stakes in this movie are all over the place. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah. He's way cooler than Nigel.
That's another thing that's extremely coincidental, like on a Power Rangers kind of level, that this guy, that Nigel just happens to be a teacher at
professor.
The school, and that she's
or
gonna,
teacher,
yeah, and that Lucy and Linda are gonna be in a class together with him, and then he's one of the trio of villains in the movie. Like, what are the odds of that?
Yep. When Selina's not from the comics, right? Like,
No.
I didn't think so. So this also falls into that lame Superman 3 and 4 thing where it's like, why are we making up these lame villains?
Why are we acting like Superman has no rogues gallery? And I get that Supergirl is a spin-off character that, especially at this point, probably doesn't have a whole lot of villains of her own, but there are lots of cool Superman villains that would work good for Supergirl. And the biggest one, who existed by this point, I'm pretty sure, who will become a kind of mainstay Supergirl villain even more than Batman than Superman, is Silver Banshee. And she's a magical character. Why the hell isn't this her? And you've got and you've got all of this. I'm going to look that up and make sure I'm right about that. But I'm pretty sure they could have used Silver Banshee. And they've got all of this like haunted house imagery, and that's a skeleton face ghost chick.
So what you're saying is this is exactly like 3 and 4, where we have villains that you could like kind of squint and see someone.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay. So Tyler is saying that Silver Banshee didn't exist yet.
Oh, that's 87. Byrne did her. Okay, fair enough. But you still could have used somebody more interesting than Selina.
Using Lex again would have been more interesting.
Yeah, well, forget what I said, but this is one of those unfortunate things where it's too bad that like you couldn't have waited a couple of years. It's like that Superman thing where if it had just been a few years later, you would have had the corporate Molgo version, probably. Like you would have had the Lex that we're more familiar with now. And you've got that with some stuff with this movie where if only you'd waited a couple of years, there's more comic stuff that you probably would have included. Like, it is really odd that this happens just before she dies in the comics.
Well, to the point where apparently she has a headband in that because it was supposed to be corporate synergy with this movie, because she was supposed to have a headband in this movie, and then at the last second decided that it was stupid, so they got rid of it.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Apparently.
I knew they almost had the headband in this, but I didn't know that they put that in the comics because of this movie.
That's what Josh Doolittle was telling me earlier today. So if he's right about that, that's apparently why that's there.
Matthew Bass, why are we wasting time playing field hockey? Don't you have a MacGuffin to find? And you've got all these powers. Just fly around, use your X-ray vision, try to find it. Why are you wasting time going to high school? How long do you plan on being here? What is happening on Argo City without their major power source? In the comic, it claims that it's one of two power sources, which kind of suggests that they've maybe got a backup, and so like nothing bad will happen unless that one goes away. But I don't think the movie mentions that.
If they have the backup hedron.
If the movie says they have two and he took one, then she might not be in quite the same sort of hurry, but still more of a hurry than playing around with bras.
But no, Cap, it's funny. Look, she's putting things in the bra to pretend that she has boobs.
Yeah, even though she's a girl and does. I don't understand that. What is happening?
But it's quirky.
You know what Swark's explanation for that is?
That she's an alien?
Well, on their utopian planet, they don't wear clothes very much, even though we see everyone wearing clothes.
I was gonna say it's the George Lucas thing of just there's no underwear in space, and the first name we hear in that opening is Leia. Because when that happened, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be super generic." And I mean, I knew it was going to be, but
yeah, again, I guess it's supposed to be just kind of a hippie-ish Well, that's what I was thinking was like hippie-ish notion of, like they're not wearing bras, they're not doing, typical expected like feminine things.
Mm-hmm. So this is about the point in this movie where I'm like, okay, everything is becoming like way too boring. Like before this, I'm like, I can kind of see a movie being made here.
Yeah.
You have to like retool everything, but this is around the point where I'm like, okay,
you guys don't have anything
boring.
and you're stalling.
You don't have anything. Not yet. You've run out of any ideas you had.
There's a lot of stalling. Somebody mentioned how sitcom-y this is, and I was going to say that earlier, that when you were talking about John Hughes. Like, instead of that, they went to your really obvious kind of Mork and Mindy fish out of water stuff. Mm-hmm. And they don't even have any fun with that. Like, they do that a few times with, like, the stupid bra thing. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a mercy to me that the whole movie doesn't degenerate into that. I guess. But we're at the school for a little while, and then at some point we just sort of forget about the school. It's odd that, like, we don't wrap anything up at the end of this movie. It's odd that at no point does she go back to the school and is like, I'm glad I met all you people, but I have to go back home now because this is the land of Oz and I gotta click my shoes. And then like there's
we're unmasking a phantasm right now.
There's characters you would think she would say something to before she leaves, and then you'd think that we'd go back to Argo City at the end and have an epilogue where we could see if they're okay before she brings the Omega Hedron back, considering how long she's just been screwing around before she gets the thing that I think they maybe need to survive, because they sort of set those stakes up at the beginning.
Yeah. At least a scene where she goes back and she's like, hey, our friend Peter O'Toole as Babar died in a red tornado, but we can't even get that.
Tyler Zaya says, what the heck is this movie? It's what should have been a direct-to-video or made-for-TV movie that was actually released in theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels very made-for-TV and just how it's structured.
And to be fair, it's got some effects that are better than that in 1984.
That's why I said specific, like, structured. Yeah. Like, there is production that is genuinely neat as you go along, but, like, overall, like, this is very just TV effort.
Because now we're really wasting time. Like, none of this stuff is necessary. And
no, everything with the villain should be cut.
have you ever said that in a review about a superhero movie? Everything.
I'm pretty sure I said that in Batman Forever, but
everything with the antagonists of the film should be cut.
She's so lame.
I went back and read Roger Ebert's review of this movie, and his big contention was, and by the way, he wrote, when this came out, a super short review, just did not even want to dignify this hardly with words. It's one of the shortest reviews of his that I've read, and his big contention was simply, Superman 1 and 2, like, played their world straight, and this thinks the whole thing is a joke. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some truth in that. Like, he says Helen Slater brings the same kind of affect to the role that Christopher Reeve does, in that, like, her performance is similar to that, where she is taking the material seriously and is earnest and endearing about it, but she doesn't have the script to back that up. And he felt like the movie was kind of making fun of the material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's something I would throw more at 3. I mean, like, there is an element.
And he said that coming off
there
of
just
3.
isn't material.
So remember,
here.
this releases right after 3, and he was saying 3 is also doing that.
We've lost that point. I mean, because I think you could have leaned into that more so. Like, my issue is it doesn't pick a lane.
Yep.
I mean, it picks Lucy, but outside of that, in terms of where we're going in this movie,
well, it picks Lucy, and then that that dark alleyway they call Lover's Lane. That's another lane that they picked.
There you go. But they can't pick a lane. You can't have both.
They did not pick a lane.
But no, like, I think this movie could be more comedic than the Superman movies are, because I also don't want it to just have the same voice as Superman. Like, so I'm not against that on principle. It's just, I would say this movie has no material before it's making fun of the material.
I think I agree with that. And if it had been consistent in what it was after, and it wanted to be more of a comedy, and it was actually funny, he probably wouldn't have said that. It's probably because he's trying to guess it, like, what it wants to be versus what would have been effective, and he's like, well, I can't tell what you're trying to do, and the comedy that's here isn't funny, so you should have just been Superman again. And he was painting with kind of a broad brush, and remember, this is before we had very many superhero movies, where he's like, he had a lot of critics at the time were really fixated on this idea of making us believe in the heightened reality, because the conventional wisdom was you cannot translate a comic book in any other way than campy. And so it blew everyone's mind when Superman managed that, and it actually emotionally resonated with people, and you believed it.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you're starting with a character that is from this, like, other world from the get-go. Like, she's not a natural human like Clark Kent is, having been raised here. Like, I don't know, that kind of out there world would have been a little bit better, just to, like, get into her head of, like, this is, this weird land that I've come into.
Yeah, you're right.
While Superman, you want more of what you're saying.
No, you're right. With Superman, he himself can be your eyes in because he was raised here. And I mean, you play it as an epic where you get outside of him for a long time because you got to watch him grow up and all of that. So you're actually seeing it at a distance initially. But with this, you're right. You could see it from her eyes, where we look at Earth through a totally different lens, and it seems alien to us.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of just how you get into her head. Yeah, and then you can have, like, a very over the top villain, and things like that, and, like, the school's kind of weird because you're dealing with, like, the kind of mean girlsy, like, comedic stuff with that. Like, I don't know. I would have probably leaned more into that, I think.
Well, and another big mistake we make is she's just not on screen enough. Like, we get these big, long stretches where we're missing her, and to your point, some of the weirdest imagery and ideas, baffling as they are, show up when she's not there, and if she was there to experience more of them, I would kind of get more why it was there. Where it's like, you and I experience the mundanity of everyday life, and only occasionally do really like strange things pop out at you. Like if you go to a carnival and you see all the weird horror imagery. To uh, somebody like her that's new to all of this, that's what she would really take from the experience, and she'd go to this carnival and be like, "What is this freaking weird planet I'm on?"
Well, especially when she comes from such like a sterile, like white utopia type place. You know what I mean? Where it's like, whoa, like it's almost like a radical, difference here. Like this villain is, skulls all over amusement park.
Yeah, why are we
layer and things like
celebrating
that.
death? I live in a place where we don't even have death.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this one person did a bad thing and they had to choose to go to prison.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is why I'm okay with that initial scene of the two guys, immediately kind of attacking her. It's just that it's also just not handled especially well. But like I feel like that is the kind of place you want to go to, where it's like, whoa, there's things here that I didn't even know that people could be like.
No, you're right. It needs to be.
You just gotta learn both the good and the bad of being here.
Yeah, and it'd be cool if she got off on the wrong foot with the world, where it takes her a while before she sees the good in it, and that would be
And that
kind of the opposite
could be where
of
like the
Superman.
school element, and that could be where the school element comes from. Where she's like,
Well, I think they think they're
in
doing that
school
for a
and-
second, but it really just becomes an excuse for her to show off her powers. And it's like, we already know her powers. We've seen the Superman movies. Like,
yeah,
it shouldn't be about that.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it should be culture shock.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something that might be controversial to some people, but Austin will be right on my wavelength. You know what handles that better than this and came out around the same time? Howard the Duck.
No. Oh, 100%. 100%.
And that movie is, of course, like insane and bizarre in its own ways, but that gets the Stranger in the Strange Land thing a lot better. Like, he shows up and he doesn't understand the world that he's in, and he gets off to the wrong foot because he's immediately bullied and he's immediately dealing with violence.
Yeah, he's hanging out in a diner and they're like, oh, that's a duck, let's kill him. Yeah, absolutely.
All we do in the alleyway scene here is make it, again, an excuse for her to show off her powers. To the point where those characters, like I said, are acting completely out of any character you would recognize, because as soon as she shows one power, they should run screaming. The only reason they don't is so she can show us multiple powers that we're already familiar with.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't talked about this, but another big issue for me with this movie is we've had 2 Superman movies before they start making this. 3 releases as this is being made. So they haven't seen or read 3 before they start making this. They've only got 2 movies to look at, Austin, and they're already steering too much into some of those same lanes. Like, why do we do another attack on a small town like we did with Zod and Superman 2? Like, this looks way too much like that. Go off and do something different. And it feels like a lame knockoff of that, because it's not even with a cool, charismatic bad guy like that. It's just taking a bulldozer and possessing it and making it act sort of like a monster, where the front of the bulldozer has like a mouth. So you go, isn't this funny? Because it's like a monster. It's just so cheap looking.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you could have also done some sort of action sequence, like through the school or something.
It should have been Selena takes over a prep school and says, "Today the school, tomorrow the world."
Exactly. You may want to know why I want to destroy this school. It's so that I can conquer Spain.
You know what? I usually don't want to rewrite movies. I always say that. This time, let's just only do that. Let's rewrite the movie the whole way through. How about Selena goes in and turns and possesses all the girls at the school and turns it into a witch coven? And then she sends all the little witches after Supergirl. And Linda, for a minute, is one of the witches. And then somehow breaks out of it. I don't know.
Except replace Selena with Parasite.
Well, yes.
Like an actual villain.
Yeah, okay, sure. Or just some
you
other
could have, though. I was
magic character.
Yeah. Or even, because I keep harping on, I wish they really settled into a movie about Kara finding herself.
Yeah.
You maybe could have had something with like a Parasite where it's like she comes to this world and she's like kind of like picking up pieces like to find herself, and like parallel that with what Parasite's abilities are. Like you could have had something with that.
Yeah, I mean, if I were gonna, again, I'm completely rewriting this, but if I were gonna structure
You
this,
kind of have to.
if I were gonna structure this story, or give you a blueprint for a story based on that initial concept I had with that opening scene, where she comes here to find a challenge, gets more than she bargained for, maybe questions whether this was a good idea and whether she's up for it, and whether she even cares enough about this planet to save it because of all the horrible things that she sees here when she has a bad first impression, right? And then she has a change of heart when she meets like a kinder supporting cast of characters. Maybe she does fall in love with someone, and then because I don't mind potentially a love story, and then you get to the end of the movie and you think she's going to go back home, but she chooses to follow in Superman's footsteps, but gets there for a totally different reason and decides that she was here initially because she was bored. Now she stays because this place needs her, and she feels like she has a responsibility and a duty to stay there because home doesn't really hold anything for her anymore. They don't need her there. But they can use her here, and it's no longer a selfish thing. Now it's a selfless thing, and now you have a what do you call it? A superhero movie.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, it's Popeyes. I love the picture that you picked for the community post was just Popeyes, Supergirl in the middle. I love that. Also, by the way, because we were laughing about the Jimmy Olsen thing earlier, there was one character taking pictures in the sequence, and it's not Jimmy Olsen, who is also here.
I didn't comment on some of the flying shots that I actually think looked really good, but the one where she drops as Linda as Supergirl, and then walks through the piping, and then she comes out the other side as Linda. That shot looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, especially compared to 3 and 4, like I think some of this flying stuff looks pretty good.
Well, he definitely had more money than 4. Well, you can tell.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, if you have a better story, this is a better movie than Superman 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go all the way to 4, but because I love 4, but yeah.
Well, 4's just on a whole other level of camp and hilarity, and like it's
exactly.
It's too fun of a bad movie for you to want to try to fix it and make it a good movie. And 3 needs to go one way or the other.
3, you need, it's not just the villain you have to cut. You have to cut the protagonist, Richard Pryor. There's probably like another world too where you tie these. Because when does 3 come out?
3 is like I think the year before this, maybe.
There's a world where you tie these more into each other, right?
Sure.
Where 3, because in 3 he's in Smallville, and he's down there. Like, you could have had it where Supergirl is in Metropolis, and that's the reason why Superman's not there, because they kind of take place at the same time, and then maybe Superman comes in at the end or something.
Yeah, or you establish Smallville in Superman 3, and then you have her come and actually live there.
Yeah, you could do that too.
We've done that in things.
Mm-hmm.
Where Supergirl goes and lives with the Kens. Like, here, obviously, it would just be Martha, because she's the only one that's still alive, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, as it is, 3 is still better than this movie, just because it's somehow less boring, even though it is pretty boring. And it's got it's got the junkyard fight, and it's got a couple of amusing places of Superman being like mean and evil, and that's kind of fun. So it's at least got something.
The big thing with 3 is that movie sucks, but like when Christopher Reeve is on screen, it's pretty good. I like some of the stuff like where he takes the kid bowling, and it's like the kids are laughing at him because he missed the. I can't remember if he goes into the gutter or he just misses a couple of the pins, and then Superman like blows them down. There's some cute stuff with him in 3. It's just that he's barely in it.
Well, I actually think Slater does a really good job with what the little she's got to work with. Like, I don't think she's bad casting at all, especially for a non-actor.
No.
Like, she'd never worked before.
No, I don't think she's bad casting at all.
Did you know this?
I actually didn't know that.
She was 18. They pulled her out of high school. Like, she wasn't even an actor.
Crazy. Yeah. No, I think she's genuinely pretty good in this movie.
And they auditioned a ton of people with experience.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the same thing that they had with Christopher Reeve, where it was an unknown, but he had stage experience. Like, he was a trained actor. With her, they went with not only an unknown, but an unexperienced person. And it would have really paid off if they only had a good script.
No, because there's some of that Superman energy where, like, some of the actors you actually know are like side roles in the villain, while Supergirl herself is, not a known name.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't realize she was not an actress like at all before this. That's interesting because I do think she does a good job.
No, they're trying to do the same thing with Faye Dunaway that they do with Gene Hackman, and I meant to ask you earlier, in your opinion, because we've always talked about how Gene Hackman, of course, has some camp, like in that version of Lax, and so the place where I'll say this real quick, the place where I think Ebert is being a little bit hyperbolic or disingenuous is in acting like there's not any tongue-in-cheekness to those movies. There's a balance it's striking before anything. Why do you think the camp thing works with Jackman and doesn't work with her? Like, what is the difference?
With Hackman, I think just because and like I talked about when we did that, like Hackman's very like Bond villain, where he's very over the top, but then he has his moments where that kind of comes down, and like now he's, for lack of a better word, scary. Where he's allowed to be more menacing. This chick, it's like every now and then we just cut to a really bad episode of Bewitched. Like, I don't know, I don't know what they're doing with her. We're also with her way too much.
Yeah. And I don't think there's ever any menace to her.
And the issue is she feels like she's Lex and Otis at the same time, where it's like she's both the villain and the bumbling one, where it's like, no, I'm okay.
And she still has an Otis that isn't funny and isn't any more or less competent than she is.
No, it's almost more like you have your Lex and Otis are the same person, and there's just like a Miss Tessmacher there. It's like, I don't know, she's just kind of there.
Yeah, and then they also have a Mr. Tessmacher at the same time.
Of course.
Because they have like... Because they've got like a 3-wheel thing, but she tries to get rid of him at the start, and then he'll just keep coming back in the... Like, he's probably the most superfluous member of this cast.
Yeah.
With this
Yeah,
big monster,
absolutely.
this big invisible monster coming, it just turns into the never-ending story, like real quick. The next 10 minutes look and feel exactly like that movie.
Mhm.
You have literally the Nothing coming, and then she comes out and tries to fight the Nothing, and it's hilarious. It's like, it's the Nothing. How are you gonna fight that? Oh, it's an invisible monster. Okay, but at first it looked like you were going to fight a storm.
Well, you know what the best part about invisible monsters are, Cap? Is they don't cost nothing.
Yeah, well, apparently this was supposed to be that Christopher Reeve scene where he's aging. That's the other thing that's really bizarre in that original script is really you were going to take away Superman's powers after you did it in 2?
Yeah, that's very weird. He should have just come in and been like, "Oh man, I just had this crazy fight with Brainiac. You wouldn't believe it." Anyways, bye.
I'm going to say something you might think is stupid.
Go for it. I say dumb things all the time.
Okay, thank you. That gives me confidence. Just based on some of the images we're seeing in the scene, like crushing cars and knocking stuff over, and just like the lighting and stuff, I think Swark could have maybe directed a decent horror movie.
Well, there's a specific shot we were just looking at where we see all that stuff, and then we cut back to her, and it's like she's like Carrie. Like
And that's
she's,
what I was gonna say. It
doing
looks
this
kind
with
of
her
Carrie.
mind. Yeah.
It's like you merged Carrie with Christine.
Yes. Especially with how that car's breaking and bending.
Yeah.
Not the A&W, which is open 24/7 in many locations.
See, she should look at that logo and immediately be disgusted because it reminds her of rapists. Right?
Oh, that should have been a scene where they're like, "Let's go to A&W. We love A&W."
And she's
then
like,
she's
"No."
"Oh no!"
Every time I
And
see
she
that, it
destroys
reminds
it?
me of these horrible men that I had to toss everywhere with my superpowers. They wouldn't get the freaking hint.
She's like, "I see A&W and I just think rape. I don't want to go there."
Dan Sten says he did direct a horror movie earlier called Bug. I'll look into that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
I'm not saying
I've never heard of
I
that.
don't know if I'll necessarily watch it. I'll see if it's worth watching, and then I'll consider
Yeah.
watching it.
Now she's fighting Thor.
Do you think Swark was just straight up not right for this material, or do you think he was just saddled with the most boring script ever?
Yeah, I think it just comes down at the end of the day to there's no
I
material.
mean, he didn't
here.
write this.
Yeah.
Do you
No,
think
because I
he's...
think the production's well done. Like we talked about this off camera. Like
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most boring movies ever made. I don't feel strongly enough about it for it to be like one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Like I don't know, it exists.
Yeah, but you don't want to sit through it. I mean,
No, I
we've
don't.
talked about how sometimes
But I'm also
that's
having
the-
an easier time sitting through it, talking over it than I
yeah.
did before. Like this isn't moving as slow as it was when it was just me. So it's like, could I watch this with people? Probably.
So you don't think Swark is like a hack director?
No. I think this movie looks pretty good for the most part.
I mean, I've got my issues with it, with even some of the directing style, but I don't
Yeah.
know if he is any better or worse than Richard Lester. Like, I kind of wonder what Superman, what a retooled Superman 2 After Donner looks like if Swark does it instead of Lester. And Lester was offered this movie, or he was supposed to do it, and he did something different.
Oh, okay. Put an aspirin between your legs.
Did she say that?
No, I'm just joking because she was like, cover your legs.
Oh. Did you say aspirin?
Yeah, you got to keep an aspirin between your legs.
Well, It's just we've already had Tylenol product placement, so I feel like it probably should have been Tylenol.
Put an A&W delicious burger that you could get at many fine locations between your legs.
Hours.
Yeah, that are in many cases open 24 hours. Get the delicious cousin burger, which I'm sure was the tie-in burger at the time. I don't know. I mean, this wouldn't be real, but I'm gonna for now on say that the cousin burger at A&W only exists because they created it as a tie-in for this movie.
Let's just make up stuff about this and see if anybody believes us.
100%, yeah. No, I'm gonna start telling people that, and when they deny it, I'm gonna show a picture of Supergirl flying into the A&W logo.
Stone Gassman brings up that Swark made Jaws 2. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's also one of the most boring movies ever made.
Well, he says that
maybe he wasn't the right choice.
He says that he came in and salvaged it. So I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind how that got made, but.
And that movie has its moments, but is largely boring.
So see, look, it's just a game of hot and cold. How did this super advanced society not build a thing with a friggin' GPS or at least an arrow? It just lights up when you're a little close? It can't just be a compass. It can't at least be a compass?
No, I love the idea that GPS in their utopian society is just, well, you're getting warmer. You make the wrong turn, you're getting colder. It's like, man.
Okay,
I gotta go the other way.
I want to say this while I'm thinking about it. There are two big places where characters know things they can't possibly know. That's just ridiculous and drives me nuts. And all the way through, I should say, there are weird dialogue exchanges where people say things, and then the next thing that's said follows not at all. That's a separate issue, but there are things that people just should know. How does Supergirl know what Kal-El has been doing on Earth? There's no explanation for that. Now they might have some way of seeing that. They might have some sort of Zordon-esque viewing globe, but we don't even have any sense that they've ever somehow talked to each other. She acts almost like she knows him.
I was so confused because she's like, "Oh, Clark Kent, he's my cousin." I'm like, "How would you even know that?
How would you know his name? How do you know Clark Kent's name?" And then, and actually I'm wrong, because with that it makes you think that she somehow knows him, or at least knows a lot about him. And then when she's in the dorm room and sees the poster, it's pretty clear that she's never actually laid eyes on him. Yeah.
No, it should be a moment where it's like, oh man, there's another of me, and we have the same symbol, we're of the same Kryptonian house.
Well, I'm okay with her knowing that he is on Earth, because that's established. Like in Argo City, they talked about that real early.
But even that's kind of confusing, where it's like, how do they know that Jor-El did this?
Yeah.
Is this a thing that people know? Was Jor-El walking around I shot my baby into space, dude? It was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and he's dead, so yeah, how would they know that? Because she's because she says to Zaltar, she's like, Earth, where my cousin went. It's like, how would they know if he survived, or what exactly he's doing there?
Yeah.
And again, you could explain it, but they just don't. You could come up with something. The other thing that's just as baffling is how Selena knows what the Phantom Zone is, much less how to make it happen.
Yes.
What is that about? That is a strictly Kryptonian thing. And just because she's got the dodecahedron doesn't mean that thing would be able to tell her how to connect to the Phantom Zone.
Hmm. Yeah, unless it like impacts her mind or something, but you should make that more clear where it's like, oh, there's this other world that like I've seen through visions shown to me by the Omegahedron.
And then
It's freaking sweet, dude.
we're also retconning what the Phantom Zone is. Because
Hmm.
yes, they do the glass thing, so that's consistent. They put it in the mirror, and the effect looks good. It looks just as good as it did before. But in Superman 2, the assumption was the glass was the Phantom Zone. Like, he spins around in it in space for years and years and years before he and his cronies finally wind up on Earth and it shatters. Or wind up, I guess, in space and at the moon, and then it shatters and then they come to Earth. Here, it's the vehicle that takes you to a physical, literal Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Which is just obviously not what it was before. And then interestingly, Smallville actually does the same thing with it. When Smallville does the Phantom Zone, they do the mirror thing. I
knew they did that
to call back to that movie, and then they take you to a Phantom Zone. And I was quite foul with that because I forgot that this did it first. I mean, I still would, well, not quite foul. I just don't like that version. I personally have never liked the Phantom Zone being a physical place. I know it is quite a bit, but there's a version used more rarely where it's more of a dimension that like takes away your physical form and makes you more literally a phantom, and it just sounds more horrifying to me as a prison where you're basically amorphous until you can somehow be pulled out of it, and you have there's no sense of time or place or anything. That's way more haunting as an idea. I've always liked that version of the Phantom Zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna have your hero go to it in this movie, it kind of just can't be the glass thing. Like, you have to have some sort of thing that she's in so that we can like be with her through that.
That's true, but if you're going to do that, so Tyler, I get what you're saying. He says, I always thought the glass was just a portal. If you're going to do that, then what you do is you have them go in the glass, and then we go inside the glass, and then we see that while from the outside of the glass we see people pounding on it, they're actually inside going somewhere. But you don't shatter
that's what
it.
I was going to suggest.
The problem is they shatter it to get there, which makes it look like a retcon.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to suggest, is that you have to have some sort of, like, you go inside it, and there's, like, a whole world there then.
Something I forgot to complain about earlier is there are two places in the movie where Supergirl stands around forever before she actually goes and solves a problem. And one of them is in the bulldozer scene. It just takes her way too long to finally do anything about that. She's just, like, standing around on a roof for a long time. Somebody in the comments mentioned that, too. And then here, Selina does something similar to the thing that Clark does, or that Superman does at the end of Superman 2, where he makes multiples of himself, where she makes this like long line of her, and Supergirl just stands there like, oh, I don't know how to get around this. I'm like, first of all, it kind of looks like she's just making these projections of herself that you could just walk through. I don't even know how that's stopping you. But even if it does, you just jump over them. And she finally flies over it. It takes her forever to come up with fly over it.
No, her attack it's like the villain equivalent of the cellophane S. Like, it's just so weird that the person's like, what even was that?
What am
Supergirl's just like, I don't even, what is this?
Like, how
what are
bad
you doing?
would you feel if your would-be boyfriend got killed by like mechanical football players because you just didn't react fast enough because that was too weird?
Well, that's another example of, like, he's being attacked by these inanimate objects, so it's like the invisible monster thing again. It's like, this is, he's being attacked by nothing.
This should be a really funny, absurd image. And, like, I'm so not with this movie at this point that I'm not only not laughing at it, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
This just circumstantially, this is what he's on, so she's flying it. But like, I feel like this should be absurd and hilarious.
It is a little bit now where she's like flying him into like the Amazon. Like, I think he just wanted to go home.
She should have put an American flag on the top of it.
Yes. I see you're predisposed to worship things that bum.
Austin, it looks like that's the shot that most reminds me of Captain Invincible. Like that's a Captain Invincible shot.
Oh, sure, yeah. Please put me down. Why did you dump me in the middle of nowhere?
Why am I on football players? So when he gets hit by that coconut, I honestly thought, because I hadn't seen this in a long time, that that was going to be the thing that breaks him out of the love spell. And like, at
Yeah.
least they didn't do that.
He should have just died. That was like the bucket hitting the boyfriend and Carrie.
Yeah, this is the most useless love story in a superhero movie.
That's so lame.
Or it's way up there. Like, he gets a love potion and then just spews a lot of, like, vomit-inducing love poetry. Like, it gives me sequel, or it gives me, flashbacks to the prequels. Just real hard. Except, this actually knows it's stupid and does it anyway. But then he's gonna remain in love with her when he is out of the love potion for no reason other than I guess she saved him and she's attractive.
Mm-hmm. It's because he got hit in the head with a coconut. He's got brain damage. Is that just a thing that she can do as well as just throw a coconut at anyone anywhere on the planet?
That is quite the superpower. Dan's dead. It's not only useless, it's arguably problematic. What's problematic about it?
Just the fact that he's like been given a love potion and is like has this against his will, I would say.
But like, are we suggesting that's a lot more messed up and sadistic than the movie thinks it is? Like,
I think that's what he's saying. Like it's just awkward. It's not full Wonder Woman 84.
that's
so,
what I was
like,
gonna say.
it's not-
I don't think it's exactly that because I don't think it's throwing our protagonist under the bus in any way, is it? Or is that what he's getting at? Does he think she's taking advantage of him because he's in a love potion just because she kisses him? Is that what? We're
Yeah, I
talking
guess so,
about?
but I don't think she even knows.
I don't think
does
she knows. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't think she's aware.
she's accidentally problematic.
Wonder Woman absolutely knows that she's sleeping with another guy's body that doesn't know he's being possessed. That's a problem.
Yeah. Stop showing us these stupid villains.
They're
Oh,
not-
that's true too. Tyler says it's problematic because she's also a teenager.
well, that was a bit more accepted in the early 80s.
Well, and I have to keep reminding myself that she's a teenager because I keep thinking that she's in college, but she's not.
Yeah. She's 17. That guy's probably like 20 or 21. And we're a lot more uncomfortable with that now than we were 30, 40 years ago. So she is really committed to this very uh like old-fashioned formal sort of way of speaking,
Mhm.
sort of accent,
Yeah.
and I think it works. Again, I just wish the material was better. Because there are places where it almost seems silly, just because the writing's not very good.
Mhm.
But like I get what she's doing. So like I don't want to make fun of it, but I can see people making fun of it, if that makes any sense. Okay, thank you. We know all the things that she
We're
can
super
do.
far into this movie too. This man's line needs to be, "No, please do not leave me in the middle of nowhere."
Matthew Bass, this is so lame. It's very. He just keeps occasionally. I guess he's never seen this. He keeps occasionally coming in and going, "God, what is this movie?" It's very like, I'm so bored.
Yes. The correct response.
And we're so glad to introduce you to it. Hey, you know what's funny?
What's that?
So I've still got the old DVD, and when you put, this is one of those discs where when you put it in, it immediately goes to the movie, but it does have a menu if you care to go to the menu, and it needs to because it's got a couple special features. So you go to the menu, and it goes da 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 da.
No. You know what it needed was a Christopher Reeve that explains how to use a DVD menu.
Move the glow.
You can move the glow right down here and play the movie. There's also special features. I love special features, Lois. That's the most awkward, unappealing kiss to ever be shown in a film.
Yeah. I want it to be General Zod, where he's like, move the glow! First you, and then one day, your heirs!
Kneel before the glow!
I see you are practiced in worshipping things that glow. So I know there are people that, for whatever reason, love the score and think it's the only good thing about this movie. I don't think this is anywhere close to Jerry Goldsmith's finest work. I like him a lot. I love his Star Trek stuff. This is only a couple years after Wrath of Khan, and I think it's very, very generic.
That's what I was gonna say. It feels like it just kind of exists. This is not a score we will go back to in the new Supergirl movie. That I can tell you.
Yeah. You're not going to see a retooled version of that with a lot of whistling.
No.
That's sure not going to happen. What makes it... What doesn't help is the goofy sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's just Spaceballs.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you thought of that, but the score is the main theme, very Spaceballs.
I didn't, but I wish I was watching Spaceballs instead of this movie.
We should do a commentary on Spaceballs.
We've been talking about it forever. We should do it.
But it does the same sound effect thing that Spaceballs does, where it's like, pshoo! Like, da 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 da, pshoo!
Because we're the Spaceballs. Watch out.
Do you hear it? And then it goes.
There it is.
And Spaceballs was 3 years after this. I want to think that was making fun of this, but it probably wasn't.
That flying scene was like a 60s Spider-Man swinging scene in the cartoon, where it was just the same 3 shots, just recycled. It's like she's gonna get there in stock footage.
Oh, I'm dumb. Horner did Wrath of Khan. I knew that.
Oh, you fake Star Trek
I know,
fan.
it's been a while.
Even I knew that.
And I've never seen any Star Trek.
And I've never seen a Star Trek. Oh my god, it's Satan. Like gold bed in the background makes it feel like Supergirl just walked into the fembot scene in Austin Powers.
But yeah, Goldsmith did motion picture, so he created the TNG theme, not knowing it would later be the TNG theme.
And that is a great theme.
It is. And much better than anything in this.
The way she just like pops into frame. That's so good.
John Early, $2 super chat. So this was 3 years after Superman 2. Correct.
Unfortunately, yep.
Discussing topics. Goldsmith really only did bad Trek films outside of First Contact. Not to say his score is bad. Well, that's if you don't like motion picture. I can't remember. Did he do 5? Because I like that score.
Possibly, I'm not sure. And motion picture is great. Get out of here.
Yeah, he did 5. Yeah, sorry. I mean, yeah, 5's not a good movie. I enjoy a lot of things in that, but that doesn't make the score bad. That is a good score. But I think his score for this is not great.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Sten says you say that like generic Jerry Goldsmith isn't just good. Generally speaking, I don't know. I'm not real high on the score.
Yeah, same.
And that's another thing that reminded me a lot of Masters of the Universe. The flavor of that theme is real similar.
Yeah, I don't even remember what that sounded like.
So yeah, now we're in the Phantom Zone that has become a physical wasteland.
We're gonna meet our boy Zaltar again.
We're on a TNG soundstage planet.
Yep.
Tyler Zayas, did they really make the plot of this Supergirl and the villain fighting over a guy? I mean, kind of. Like, part of it.
A large part of it? Yep.
Yep. Which, when we talk about the fact that she's a teenager, that gets odd considering, like, how much older the villain has to be than the hero. I guess there's that.
Well, you love your scales, right? And you have the villain on one side, the hero on this side.
Oh, no!
And this guy in the middle, but that scale is an age scale. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's not one of those cool ideology or worldview scales. That is not a chart that I want to write out, Austin.
That's a chart you would find in like an FBI warehouse.
An FBI warehouse. Now we're back to Neverending Story. Artax!
Oh, it turns out Supergirl wanted to die this whole time.
Artax, she's in the
goo, the depression goo.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that was. It was the something of sadness. It wasn't like a lake of sad. It was the something of sadness.
The Zaltar of sadness.
Stone Gassman says this entire Phantom Zone was cut from the U.S. cut. Yes, it was.
Weird.
Yeah.
They really just gutted this movie.
I kind of want to see that cut.
I love, though, that they cut all of the stuff that you could see as mildly interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, things are starting to happen, cut that. This movie's boring. Like, okay.
This is also just ripping off Superman 2 because you have the villain declaring him or herself the ruler of the planet and like starting with just this town and all the citizens trying to kind of revolt. I mean, we're doing more of a revolting thing here, I guess, but like with that, it's like he's on TV and everybody around him's like, no, that's not cool, and then he like telekinesis finger picks up that guy. You remember that?
Yeah.
The swamp
Well,
of
there's
sadness.
certain
That's what it is.
villains.
It's the swamp of sadness. It was going to drive me insane.
There's certain villains where it's like, okay, they're the world taking over villains. Like your General Zod can be that in Superman 2. Some random woman who lives in like an amusement park and just, like holds a ball. And just like her only motivation is she wants to have sex. Like that is not a world conquering villain.
No, I mean, to be fair, she said something about conquering the world pretty early. It's like, now that I have all this
I
power,
know that,
that's
but
what
like
I'm
I'm just
gonna do.
talking about like just like
Whether we buy
foundation. Like this is not a world conquering character.
Yeah, are you saying like we're not menaced by that because we don't buy that she could pull it off? Like Zod could pull it off.
Yeah, because Zod is a big enough villain that he could take over the world if he wanted to. This is just a woman with a ball who wants a man's, anyways.
And she's so incompetent. She's constantly trying spells that don't do anything, and she can't even fully.
She can't even succeed in having sex. How can I buy that she could conquer the planet?
But she also can't even fully control the Omegahedron. Like it keeps doing stuff kind of out of her control.
Yeah. No, the villain of this movie is a female incel. Like she can't conquer the planet. This scene is also very weird.
Yeah, it's really odd. I don't know what the stuff is. I don't know what the squirt stuff is.
Well, just the fact that he's like, that's all he's saying, and he's like rubbing her weird. Everything about it's weird. It's awkward. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
Like he's been here a long time.
Yeah, apparently. She's 17. Like, this movie needs Chris Hansen.
Well, that's yet another reason it should be her dad. Because your mind wouldn't go to any of those places if it was her father.
Yeah. It just feels like it should be her dad. Like, that's what that character should be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. And we just, like, yeah, our parents are there at the beginning, but we're not doing any actual parental stuff. So, once again, no cool parallels or mirroring with Jor-El and Lara. And considering that we're going to some pretty obvious traditional feminine things, and like our villain has to be a woman, and we've got to have a stupid love potion plot, which just seems like the single most obvious thing to do in a female-led superhero movie when you've never had one before. It is really strange to me that there's nothing remotely maternal in this movie.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like she doesn't have any sort of surrogate mother on Earth. We don't do anything with her actual mother. We don't do anything with her feeling maternal at any point in the movie. And I'm not saying just because it's a female superhero or a female main character you have to have that. I'm just saying I'm a little surprised there's not any of that.
Well, I mean, in a movie as generic as this,
female this goes.
Yeah. No, your villain and hero are only at odds because they both you want to get with this one guy. It is weird.
Yeah. I am saying that if it wanted to do some sort of a maternal motif, they could have built a story around that, because the Superman movies are or at least the first movie is very much a father-son story, and so like mirror that in some way.
Give her the super cat. Make that like her motherly instinct.
You're just saying that because of Crypto in a movie this year. Like if we did this 3 years ago, you wouldn't have brought up Streaky the Super Cat.
I know Streaky the Super Cat outside of that. 100% I would have been like, Streaky should be here. Because then something interesting would happen.
Stone Gassman, how does Zeller know what a train is? Well, he's studied Earth, and I don't know how he was able to do that, except like Krypton probably had information about the planet. Well, no, we know for sure that it did, because Jor-El talks about the 28 known galaxies and all of that. Like, I don't know just what all they're familiar with, but remember, you had that crystal in Superman 2 where I think it's Superman 2. We're like quoting Earth poetry and stuff. That's the tree poem. This actually goes to it too, weirdly. Remember where it paraphrases, like, I don't believe I'll ever see anything as lovely as a tree. Like, this also does that. Aaron Thorne, how does she not know what a horse is? She's been at a girl's school. I think what that's getting at is she flew with horses at the beginning of the movie, but didn't know what they were called.
Oh, okay.
I think is the idea, and so I think the deal is, and I might be reading too much into this, but I think the deal is he shows her this horse that he's whittled, and she's basically like, oh, that's what that's called, because she flew with them.
I mean, I guess like I see where he's coming from in that the school she's at, they would all be horsewomen. Like I could see that school having stables, because it's not like that like preppy kind of thing.
Yes, but in the movie's defense, how long has she been there, and how many classes has she attended? Because we may have actually witnessed the complete history of her at that school.
Yeah, that's true too.
And now we're in Ninja Turtles 3 territory. With the people hanging from the ceiling in cages.
Well, that's the first step of ruling the world, is putting Jimmy Olsen in a cave. A cave in a cage.
Now, ignoring the fact that they actually flirted with this idea a little bit in Smallville, I wonder if you couldn't have done an okay love story with Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen in this.
It probably also would have been awkward, like because of the age thing. But like,
well, let's say we aged her up just a little bit. Well, let's say if she wasn't 17 and she came here and she's 23. Like, could we have had? Because also keep in mind, just for the sensibilities of the time and of this movie, Austin, it's not any weirder than him dating Lucy Lane, because she also goes to that school.
Yeah, but I already find that weird. Like, it's just like a lame reason to justify why he's here.
Yes.
So it's like, I'd rather just cut Jimmy Olsen. Like, he just doesn't need to be here.
But I'm just suggesting that since it's a character that we're already familiar with, it might have been a better link and something that would be more interesting to people, I guess, if like that had ended up being the love interest, maybe.
Maybe
I don't know.
Jimmy's also weird because I feel like he never gets anything to do in those movies anyways, so it's like do most people know that this is like a returning character? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe, I'm not sure. I don't have an answer.
it's a notion.
Yeah.
So Gassman, I would trust Jimmy Olsen not sending pictures of Supergirl to Playboy. Oh, you mean he didn't take this? Jimmy Olsen didn't take this picture? Is that what you're...
No, that other guy that was taking a picture in that scene that was not Jimmy Olsen took that picture.
Why do we keep giving the sidekick character dialogue?
Who gave this guy popcorn?
Oh, something...
Did she use her magic to make that?
Something else I was not surprised to learn or I had forgotten about this from the director commentary, is the villain ladies do improvise a decent amount of their dialogue.
Of course.
And so now we're winding up in a Ghostbusters 2016 or a Ragnarok situation. I think it can be really dangerous for a director to let comedians or would-be comedians do a lot of improvisation and then include too much of it in your movie because you're just too close to it. And you can say that about any part of movie making, but that in particular bothers me because if you're laughing at something real hard that happened on a set and you're too close to it, you might think that other people in the context of the movie will find it funnier than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the danger with improv.
And obviously that's not to say that it hasn't worked a lot, but I think it's especially difficult to get away with in something that's not a flat-out comedy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's like a fun or easy editing situation. But my movie's buffering.
Oh no! We've only got 10 minutes left, Austin.
I know, the movie was like, screw it.
I'm done. So, I think Zaltar's death, his sacrifice here would be a lot more tragic or I don't know, like I'd care more if the setup wasn't so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the sin that this man is paying for? Like, kicking a ball across a room? Yeah, just being...
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
Like, just being bizarrely negligent? Like, if he actually stole that for his own ends, and then he's gotta, ultimately sacrifice himself, and he was gonna let himself basically be tortured for eternity, basically go to hell, and maybe the idea is now he is getting, like, a rest from that because he ultimately helped Supergirl, and so he makes up for that in some way. But his actual original sin is just confusing. So
that's because
not a very compelling death.
The movie goes is confusing
from the start. I mean, at least it's consistent. At least it establishes from the beginning that it's not going to make any sense. Wow, what a great, exciting death trap. Tyler, I thought Austin was just making a joke. I didn't think there was an actual red tornado.
Yeah, there's a red tornado, a blue tornado. Zaltar dies in the red tornado. It's pretty embarrassing.
It looks like it's made of tomato juice. It's a red tomato.
It's a VA.
You could have had a red tornado.
Exactly. And you can buy a red tornado at many A&W locations.
In 24 hours a day. The floor coming apart's kind of cool.
I just have to imagine it.
I'm sorry, Austin.
That's okay. I'm back at it. I'm like just skipping around. But
well, we just threw a gargoyle through the floor. That happened.
Isn't this an exciting climax, Cap?
That's more exciting for me. I'm watching it.
I'm skimming around. Like I do have it on. I don't know where we are.
So, like, was it supposed to be funny when her sidekick woman got pushed up against the wall when she's like, ah? Like, that's just weird.
There's that scream sound effect they play all throughout the climax. It's really embarrassing. I don't know what they were doing.
That's supposed to be the big difference between our hero and our villain, is that the villain sees herself as like lording over everyone and better than everyone, and Supergirl doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all you get. I don't have a lot to work with here, Austin.
I literally don't.
I feel like you'd want to work a little bit harder to make your offshoot Superman character not feel like just generic, not as interesting Superman. I feel like your main mission statement would be like, how is she different?
I just skimming around. I found when they throw the henchwoman into the wall, and she did that scream I was talking about. This is Zach Hadel scream. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's funny.
We're at 154 if that helps, Austin.
154.
154.07.
Not especially. I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay,
it's
sorry.
like the minute count, but it's okay.
This ending is very Ghostbusters. And the same year Ghostbusters comes out, so that's interesting.
True. Well, it also has the big Gozer demon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of what made me think of that.
Yeah.
And apparently... Oh, I forgot. She gets, like, the strength to come back into this battle because Zaltar's voice is in her head saying, "You can!" And so she's encouraged by that. I don't know character-wise what I'm supposed to learn about her from that. But
that she can.
Oh. Okay. Like, everything I can come up with is just really vague and generic. Like, okay, she doesn't give up. That's kind of her prevailing thing.
She doesn't give up. She can.
I mean, at least she's heroic, I guess. And I'd say she's pretty
good.
Proactive, except she just stands around and poses too long while things are happening that she needs to go stop. But that's not really her fault so much as the production.
Well, then you can't say she's proactive. She came to find a MacGuffin and enrolled in school.
Yeah, I can't decide if I should blame the stupid hot and cold watch for that or her, though.
But why would she enroll in school? Like, well, it's not here. It's cold.
Yeah, and again, you could explain it. I mean, I don't know how exactly you explain that, but maybe I want to know what Swark was thinking with that, because he doesn't talk about that in the commentary, like, or what the writer was thinking. Like is the idea supposed to be she doesn't know how long she'll be here, so she thinks she needs in a disguise, or if Superman had been here, he could have like suggested that she have a disguise. But even then, it's like, why though? How long do you think you'll be here? I mean, part of the problem with this whole idea is it easily could have been over in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Like, she's got the hot cold watch. She could just use it better. Just, walk longer when it's blinking. And then she's got a lot of helpful powers for this. Now, to be fair, you have one throwaway line about how the Omegahedron is in a box made of lead. And they do not get into that past that, except in a deleted scene that is apparently in the director's cut that I have never seen.
Oh, okay. there's some sort of explanation. But
So
even
one of the
then,
reason,
like,
so the
she
reason
gets
it's
there,
not the, I just thought of this. I guess the reason the watch doesn't go off more is because when it's in that lead box, it's not going to detect it.
which doesn't make sense. But even if that were the case, it
all I can
wouldn't
come
be
up
when
with.
she gets there.
I guess all Kryptonian technology is negatively affected by lead.
Mm-hmm. Because the thing with lead is just that X-rays can't see through lead. Like it's like a scientific thing. That's not like specifically a Kryptonian thing. So like the hot
Right.
and cold thing wouldn't make sense for it. I don't know.
I'm
Whoever wrote
grasping at
this is
straws here.
dumb. No, I know. I'm just saying like it's dumb.
And now it's over already. She just
Yes.
goes to back home, and I guess everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. The power source is back.
And then I guess that was
something
just
else would be sent there.
like it feels like an excursion before it feels like a story.
Uh-huh. It's a side quest.
I feel like the way you, well, I don't even know if this would subvert anybody's expectations because it's Supergirl and you kind of expect this to be an origin story where she would stay on Earth, right? Like Supergirl is another ongoing comic series about an alien from another planet that stays on Earth. But for this story, I feel like the story, I feel like the more interesting subversive thing to do is you get to the end of the movie and she comes up with a reason to stay. And then of course, it's kind of sequel bait or whatever, but this is really bizarre that you just go back home and that's it. And I guess that's supposed to sort of be that Wizard of Oz thing that Swark also talks about in the commentary, and we were talking about earlier. But just very vaguely, like, but so what about that?
They don't know. We don't know.
Tyler says, that's
We
it?
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Stone Gasman, he did say that right at the end. For the style and the texture, I think we did pretty well. That's what he said.
Very good. As long as you're happy. And that's neat.
Hayden says cinema.
It's true. We did it. It is cinema.
Even just film a scene where she goes back home, she's in that city, and she flies down with the Omegahedron and everybody's applauding, and put the credits over that. Just
I was gonna say, and
just
then
something. What are you saying?
they're gonna say it, and they're like, "Congratulations, Kara, you done did the thing." And she's like, "You know what? I'm going back to school. I'm going to college."
Oh yeah, sure, you can do that.
And then she flies back.
She has to bring it back. That yeah, that's the proper epilogue where she's gotta. I mean, you still didn't tell much of a story, but she's got to bring it back to save her people, and then she goes, "But man, I saw some weird freaking shit on that planet. I just swore." And
it would turn you white.
And we've got this great utopia, and they're a mess, and they're gonna blow up their planet like we did if I don't go back and help them. And like one Superman's not enough; he needs help. I'm going back. That should be the ending.
On Earth, they don't even have dodecahedrons. I need to go back.
Oh,
and they have this like weird. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I meant to say this earlier. That's one of the things. That's the big thing that makes Superman not being in this movie feel really awkward. And then she goes home, and she might not ever come back again. Like she might not ever meet him. That's so weird.
Yep. No, she should go back because all the stuff that's bad. Like she should be like, there's this weird rape place called A&W. They're open 24/7, and they're in multiple places. I have to stop them.
We gotta stop it. I've got to stop the career of Matt Frewer.
Exactly.
Tyler, Supergirl didn't even get top billing. Well, to be fair, neither did Christopher Reeve originally either. Like
No, it's just more in line with
you,
Superman.
you
The
ta-
villain gets top billing.
you tag your famous villain that was cast to sell the movie and is getting a bigger paycheck. I mean, I
Yeah,
guarantee you, Faye
exactly.
Dunaway got a bigger paycheck than Helen Slater. They pulled her out of high school.
100%. Yeah. Peter O'Toole probably got a bigger payday.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I mean, I think they paid him entirely in booze, but I think he still got a bigger payday.
Yeah. Well, and even that guy that played Nigel, I think, probably got a bigger paycheck.
Possibly, yeah.
And they
This was
probably let him
everyone.
keep
Everyone
his
in the movie.
leisure suit.
Mhm.
They thought that was hilarious. I don't even understand that joke. He's got this weird smirk through that whole scene where he's standing at the door because he's in his leisure suit. He's like, "Look at me. I look so attractive in my leisure suit."
Oh, it's smashing.
And it's bizarre because they do one establishing shot of it. If you blink, you miss it, and then the rest of the scene is a close up on his face where all you can see is the collar, and they're making a really big deal out of the clothes he's wearing, but you hardly ever get to see them.
They're nice. They're comfy,
Oh, I was going to mention,
stylish.
because we were talking about the quality of his directing. The only major issue, besides a couple of shoddy effects things that are like not entirely on him and that are difficult to do in '84, and again, some of it is really cool. But there are some really weird. There's some really weird framing. There's places where characters' faces get cut off, like in close-ups. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's just some really
No, it
odd
didn't jump out
choices
at me.
in framing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it didn't really jump out at me, but it just, I don't know, seemed kind of standard, but I guess, yeah, that's kind of incompetent if
Oh sure.
they're doing weird stuff like that. This was a choice. I don't
And I
know.
will say the
Who
only
knows?
other thing I've ever seen Helen Slater in, to my knowledge, is the Supergirl TV show, and her performance is ultra cheeseball in that show.
Oh, yeah.
Where she plays Kara's surrogate mother, and like it's cool stunt casting. Like I don't have any problem with it. They did a lot of that with the CW shows, but I just think it's sad that in both of these places she just had not great material to work with.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
I
it
mean,
is just real corny writing.
yeah, I mean, she's good in this movie, I think. It's just, yeah, this kind of nothing. It's a nothing movie.
No, I think she's somewhat inspired casting.
Yeah.
But you're right, Reeve would have really elevated her. Like, it's unfortunate that she didn't get the chance to work next to him to elevate her performance, because then even when he wasn't there, she's gonna have it's probably gonna elevate her performance. She's probably gonna have more confidence on screen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think they would have had like a fun dynamic just playing off each other.
Yeah, she should have gotten to be mentored by him.
Yeah, and it's this unfortunate thing where you have, uh, especially when you get to four, where it's like a canon movie, like how cheap that movie is, and it's like it still is being raised up because it's Christopher Reeve just doing his thing. Like just him being there, I think would have given it more weight.
They should have put her in that.
Yeah.
They should have let her be a guest star in that movie.
I mean, it's basically an extended TV episode. She could have been the special guest star.
Why not? All right, let's go ahead and do tweet length reviews. I've only got one on Patreon, and
I think I also only have
you
one.
may only have one on Discord. Refresh it though, and just make sure.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for joining us and hanging out with us.
Yes, I only have one.
Sorry I put this out kind of late, but I don't know how much response we would have gotten for this movie anyway. Why don't you read yours first, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll do our ratings.
From Victor, he says, I'm not going to put effort into crafting a witty review for a movie that puts zero effort in crafting its story. I'd be embarrassed to have this movie on my shelf, and I have a copy of Son of the Mask. Rating Nemesis.
Well, I can't be embarrassed about this when I've got so many other uh, more cringe-inducing and vomit-inducing movies on my shelf. I have a lot of bad movies on my superhero shelf. It's superhero movies. That's the genre we're looking at. There's a lot of bad ones.
Yep. That there are.
Daniel Davis.
A lot of bad female superhero movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, it didn't start in a great place, and it just does not climb uphill after that.
Nope.
Daniel Davis, I just saw this film for the first time in full, which surprised me. I understand that casting Faye Dunaway as the main villain in your movie in 1984 means that she's going to get a lot of screen time, but it's still weird to watch a movie in which the titular heroine often feels like a supporting character. In that way, I'll just pause for a second and say it is, even though it's with a villain, that does make it kind of like the Richard Pryor situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where it seems like they were so excited to get her, and she was apparently the pick that Swark really wanted, that they gave her too much of the screen time that their superhero should have had.
Yeah, and she's at least the villain. Like, I don't even know what the Richard Pryor thing is about.
There's rumor that, because Swark denies this, Swark says that it was always Faye Dunaway, but there's rumor that Dolly Parton was considered.
That would have been weird.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll finish reading Daniel Davis' review here. At least Superman was smart enough to parse out Lex's screen time. The rest of the movie is a mess, featuring a very first drafty plot line and a romance that is poorly handled. Its saving graces are its supporting cast. Peter O'Toole is still engaging, drunk paycheck performance or not. Some occasional good production design, Jerry Goldsmith's score, and Helen Slater, who I feel with a better script could have been a great Supergirl. Pardon my lengthy review, but villain. Okay, so given that Austin has made a kind of major point out of this isn't the worst thing ever, it's just really dull. I'm not sure where he's gonna land if this will go all the way to Nemesis territory. So let's find out. Austin, what is your rating for Supergirl?
So, watching it just on my own, I probably would have been a light Nemesis, but I think after watching it while talking over it, I'm going to be a little lighter on it and say villain. But like, this is a movie I'll probably forget about in like 20 minutes, which is a relief. Like, there are movies like, while ranking this, I was like, okay, is this technically a worse movie than some of the things that I ranked it over? Like, yes, but like, this movie won't stick with me like some of those. Where like some of those were just more annoying, or in one case even more boring. But this just kind of barely exists. Like, it's nothing before, it's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it feels oddly obligatory.
Yeah, and it exists. I don't know. There's some alright stuff in it, but overall, it's just pretty lame.
Yeah, I don't think it's offensively bad.
No. Like, I would still say that this is probably one of the better female superhero movies.
Because there's so many bad ones.
Yeah.
The closest, so just getting into my rating, the closest to offended or angry I get with this is just thinking about missed opportunities. It's just like,
sure,
like all the flashes I get of what this movie could have been about when it's not really about anything, and it's just a MacGuffin finding movie, and it's just, like I said, an excursion before it's a story. On a writing level, that's irksome to me. That irritates the crap out of me. But it's not it's not like unbearable, and it doesn't tick me off the way something like an Apocalypse does.
No, this is a movie that you could play in like a dentist's office. You know, it's just like on in the background, and like you can like maybe look at it, and maybe the sound's not even on, but you're like, that looks okay. Like it's getting me through waiting in this line.
The sound's
but,
not
like,
even on. That's so good.
You know,
And
I don't know, it's that kind of movie.
I'm intrigued in places by just how much of a mess it is. With like I said, some of the dialogue exchanges that I just can't even follow. Where I'm like, why did that person just say that? And I can be entertained by that. But it's wrong, but it's kind of entertaining, and that's like it's pretty boring through a lot of it. So when I'm most entertained is when I'm going, wait, I'm sorry, what? But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm gonna go villain also. I don't think I have the heart to quite go nemesis with this.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm thinking of other
like I
movies
said,
that
I
I've-
probably would have been harder, but
I'm thinking of other movies that
I
I've
just don't
gone to
care.
nemesis and that I will probably go to nemesis for, and it's hard to be consistent with Des. And I think we have the prerogative to not always be completely consistent with this. It's pretty arbitrary. But I am thinking about some of those things and going, I mean, it's in a different league. Like it is different from the movies that just make me want to, eat rocks.
Yeah, or crush rocks with your Kryptonian strength.
Yeah. It helps that she's good.
Yeah, that's true.
In the costume looks good. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
Like it's all superficial stuff. It's also again not their fault they didn't get Reeve.
no. But I mean, it also is to the extent that what they had was bad, so he was like, I don't want to be in this.
Yeah, once you know what they were gonna do with him, I don't blame him at all. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing old man makeup. I'm done.
So it kind of also is his fault, their fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can blame him.
If they came in and they were like, "Oh, we wrote this great movie, and you get to have a part in it," he'd probably be like, "Oh, cool, I'm down with that. I was in Superman 3. I want to be in a good Superman movie again."
Okay, let's go ahead and get into our ranking with this. And I might move this, Austin. At the moment, I've got it just above Superman Returns.
Okay, that makes sense.
I have it at 46.
Yeah.
So I have it just above Superman Returns, and I have it just under Spawn. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know how I feel about that. It is still... I think it's a bit more of a mess than Spawn is. And if I was just checking boxes, I think I would still have more positive things to say about that movie than this, ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
Let's see where Austin's got it.
Let's see, where's my list? There we go.
Austin has it.
We're almost exact. We're almost to the number.
Almost to the number. 45. You put it just above Batman Forever. We don't have to talk about that. That's fine.
They're fitting to be next to each other, though. They're movies where I want all the villain scenes to be cut. So it's like, they can be in the same spot.
I also think at the moment I have the Fantastic Four movies too high. I've got them at 39 and 40.
Oh, yeah, that's too high.
That's too high. So I gotta rework mine a little bit at some point.
That's okay. Sometimes we put bad things too high. It's okay.
Sometimes we all do dumb things.
Exactly. We all go a little crazy sometimes. People in the chat are saying that they would rather watch Supergirl than Returns. That is the only correct opinion. 100%.
I think I'm with you there. Well, because
you know what,
Returns is also boring, but it is offensively bad.
You know what Supergirl also has over Returns?
What's that?
She does more than this.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like Supergirl might slightly take advantage of a guy that's on a love potion in that she kisses him a couple times, but
Mhm.
Superman and Superman Returns is just a freaking stalker, like straight up.
Yeah. That's creepy.
That's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Gasman, Supergirl is fun compared to Superman Returns.
100%.
Compared to that, yes. Sorry, I'm just distracted by this image. I'm gonna send you a picture of this, Austin. So the menu for the special features, because I don't know why, but it just went to the special features menu right after the end of the movie. This disc is really whacked out. Like the movie starts as soon as you put it in, and then when you finish it, it goes through the special features menu. It's very strange. But there's this,
That's I used to have the Batman movies, and they used to do that.
but
Like on
I'm
DVD.
sending you this image because it's Faye Dunaway with like looming over Supergirl. She's got her hands like over her face.
She looks like she's doing her makeup.
It's so good.
It's like Julianne Moore coming in and being like, "I will do your makeup, Supergirl."
Why did they Photoshop
Did they-
it like that?
Did they forget that it's Catwoman that has the makeup woman as the villain, not Supergirl?
Yeah, I mean probably.
That was certainly a choice.
Here, I'm gonna show everybody this. Look at this, you guys. This is and then Supergirl doesn't even know this is happening. Like,
No, she's just like,
if you haven't seen the movie, you'd think she was a ghost.
it's Ghost Dad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's do a blind commentary on that.
That was, I'm sure that's probably awkward now.
I'm sure it's very awkward now. That sounds like an After Dark kind of a blind commentary.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, it's time to finally reveal what we're doing for our 50th episode of the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. And some of you guys have guessed it already, but this is a big movie. It's one that we almost opened the year with, and then time got away from us, and we didn't manage to get to it. We're finally going to do it. The plan right now is next week. Hopefully it works out, and we're going to review
Howard the Duck. That's
No,
right.
it's not Howard
We're
the Duck.
finally doing it.
And we're gonna. What I was gonna say is we're gonna do the same thing that we did with Dark Knight Returns. Where we're gonna review the comics before we on a vault before we do the commentary project. And what is the film, Austin?
Howard the Duck.
No, it's not Howard the Duck.
It's Watchmen.
Yeah, we're finally doing Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we're ready to have our whole week sucked up with that. Maybe we should have made it Howard the Duck. So Gasman,
That would be great.
I'm so looking forward to Howard the Duck.
We gotta do the Howard the Duck movie adaptation comic.
I don't know if I own that. Is that a thing?
My dad does, yeah.
Oh, you
My
told
dad
me
has
that.
all 4 issues of it, yeah.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. They did it as a miniseries. That's crazy.
Yep.
Um,
No, so that's the thing. So
I don't think I'm
Howard
going to
the
do those
Duck
back to
gets-
back, by the way. Just me personally. I don't think I want to do Supergirl launching into Howard the Duck. Like, I'm good.
Well, you're like launching off into the stratosphere. Like it gets so much better. But if Howard the Duck takes 4 issues to adapt into a comic, I don't understand how Supergirl is a one-shot. Like, if you were really going to capture that movie, that should be like a 50-issue run.
No,
That's how you adapt that movie.
it mercifully cuts out a lot of the improvised dialogue from the villains. Like that scene where Nigel is at the door in his stupid suit is one panel.
Yeah. Well, that's nice at least.
Yes, it is. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and hang it up here and bid you guys farewell for the weekend, but we appreciate you. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. And once again, if you want to become a Patreon producer, that's the $10 tier on Patreon. And thanks for everybody's support there. I always want to read all of the producer patron names at the end of each show, and I'm going to do that right now. So thanks to all of our patrons, but especially these folks, including Jesse Surtees, Jajira, Chewbacca's Lover, Justin Hayes, Victor, Super Billy, Elliot Slater, Dr. Hello, Goofster123, Joe Turner, Slip, Maker, Vic, Apocalypse, Killer Moth Returns, Matthew Brody, Abic Stark, Kareem Roberts, Damon Begay, Adam March, Serial When Pigs Fly, Matt Bat 68, Hot Soup, Michael Martin, Kate Blaze, and the Captain Coon. Thanks, guys. Hope you had a good time. Somehow we talked all the way through Supergirl. Mm-hmm. I thought we were going to lose Austin. And I thought we were going to lose Austin even before his movie lost him.
Yeah, I mean, I lost the movie for like the last 15 minutes, so kind of. But next week you'll get to see us talk about Watchmen for 16 hours.
Yeah.
So.
I haven't landed on the cut yet. I'm somewhere between the director's cut and the ultimate cut. So I'll let everybody know ahead of time where we're gonna fall on that. Both are available on Max, which means it's if you want to subscribe to that, it's pretty easy to watch either cut, and that's why I'm having a hard time deciding which one to go with. I don't know if I want to do the super lengthy one and have to talk through Black Frieder, because I just don't think we're gonna have anything to say during those sections. But we may do it. I'm back and forth on it. I also need the time to listen to Snyder's commentary, and I think...
Does he have a full commentary on the Ultimate Cut?
He does, yeah.
Oh.
And I remember it being pretty informative. I listened to that back when I did. I remember that being a pretty good, useful commentary. But it's been a lot of years now. But I listened to that before I did the old scripted rewind.
Oh, okay, cool. I might try to find that if I can, but
yeah,
we'll see.
But I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of work. I'm hoping we can manage to get both the book and the movie in 1 week. I mean, it's a lot to do, and there's a lot of background research I could be doing on that if only I had the time. I don't know. I might find myself axing a couple of shows I usually do next week just to have more time to do research, but we'll see what happens. It might just be... Next week might be a Monday-Friday week as opposed to a Monday through Friday week, but we'll see what happens.
But you know what is Monday through Friday?
What's that?
And sometimes even more beyond that is A&W, which you can go at any time and get a nice, delicious cousin burger. You can also go to your local grocery store and buy A&W root beer.
Are we going to try to make this the thing that supplants White Castle?
I mean, we could. Is White Castle open 24/7? I don't know. We don't have it here, but A&W.
But it's the fast food chain we always talk about on the channel.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin the Day Ghost. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.